Hi, this is Mike Ross, public address announcer for your Toronto Maple Leafs, and this is the Leafs Late Night Podcast, your post-game destination. And now, your starting lineup. Roscoe, the Fanalyst, Southey, Biehner, and Darty Brodeur on the Leafs Late Night Podcast.
Wow. It's a rough start to the year. A little rough one here, eh?
As you said that, I totally just thought Bean took like a swig out of a vodka bottle. It would happen so fast on video. I was like, super rough, eh, Bean?
Just water.
Corner of my eye.
Gotta drink if the team loses.
Hey, there's one thing worth celebrating tonight. Canada, as Biehner's wearing there, he's got the Team Canada jersey on. Canada's taking home gold tonight.
Whoop.
Congrats. Dylan Guenther scoring the OT winner. But on the other end, the Leafs fall 5-1 to the Seattle Kraken. Come on. Come on, guys. It's Leafs Late Night. Roscoe, your host,
People
joined by...
sing it best. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah. Roscoe, Fanalyst, Mikey D, and the Biehner tonight. Thanks for joining, everybody. It is never too late for the Leafs, presented by Inside the Rink. I don't even know where to start. I know we're going to break down the whole game, but just overall, this was a rough one. Everybody was kind of flipping back and forth between two games. I feel like a lot of people gave up on the Leafs game, so I do not blame you if you are coming here for a recap of what happened, because you weren't watching. I don't blame you for turning the game off to go watch Canada win. So, Steph, you wanna start us somewhere? What did you feel tonight?
We took one for the team, so the rest of y'all can sit back, relax, get our gold medal, and have a great night. So I kind of feel like I jinxed it a bit. I don't know, this inner guilt, because I said to our Leafs Late Night group chat, you guys are watching the gold medal game. Watch this Leafs game be the most insane game ever. It's probably going to be high scoring and a bunch of shit's going to go on. Maybe like Dryden Hunt getting his first goal, for example, that was running through my mind, or even like Riley or something we didn't expect. But I was totally wrong. Oh, and I feel like it's my fault.
I was totally right, though, and I'm not even going to say this is my fault. This was going to happen anyway. But before the game, I said, so we can just all assume that Jared McCann is scoring tonight. He did. So prediction season.
Replied that no, this was a Gio revenge tour, which Gio going to the box at the start of the third, that was not the revenge tour I had in mind.
No.
Yeah, Gio going -3 was not the revenge tour I had in mind.
Was an oof.
Big oof all around. Just a rough time. And we'll get to all the roughness that happened. But hey, the positive was, oh my God, the Leafs started on time tonight. It was 12 minutes before Seattle was able to even get a shot off. The Leafs were all over them, just breaking up everything as soon as Seattle was able to grab the puck. And it just seemed that they could control it, but it was 95% there. Like that last little bit to bury it, they couldn't find an open slot to actually get a decent shot through. It was a lot of moving the puck around,
Martin Jones,
which
was
didn't
on
look bad. I mean,
they
really maintained control, but it didn't translate into any opportunities really to score. There were a couple quick chances. I mean, Engvall had that one breakaway, and so did Nylander, I think, or something close to it. But yeah,
looked like Nylander had 2
Mikey.
This game. Like he was really noticeable.
Yeah. He's been fantastic. Like even on the bad nights, he's always the one that's looking good. I feel like we're always saying that, but couldn't find it on that one. I felt like it was. I mean, on the Seattle broadcast, they were saying, "Oh, Martin Jones is just in the right spot." When it doesn't look like he's making a big save, it just means he's in the right position. But I felt like there was just a lot of, not making that extra move to catch him off and shooting a lot into his chest. Like, Biehner, what do you feel about the goaltending from Jones tonight?
Well, I think they went back to somehow they found a time machine and they went back to 2016 and they found the Martin Jones from the Sharks from 2016-17 who led them to the Cup final. No, I was going to mention it earlier when you had mentioned the loss and said to Seattle, like they're kind of the real deal this year. like they're nothing special. They're not gonna destroy any teams, but they've been playing well and they've been consistent all year. Like they just took it to Edmonton again. Twice now, I think they've scored over 5 goals against Edmonton. So
they won 5-2 on Tuesday. It was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is their 5th time scoring more than 4 goals, I think.
Yeah, they're a sneaky consistent and a sneaky good team, and it's really nice to see because that market deserves it, even though it's only their 2nd season in the league. But no, Jones has found his composure again, and he's been playing. He's not going to win the Vezina or anything, but he's been playing very solid.
How much money is this team spending? Oh, well, they're spending a lot more than I thought. They're only $1 million under the cap. I thought they were like one of those teams that was sitting like 20 million under, but they're surprisingly. I mean, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys making $5 million on the forward group, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 making between 3 and 5. So okay, that's where all their money went. Because you look at this roster, and I mean, there's a couple names that stand out. I mean, you've got Jordan Eberle there, and I mean, Tanev's been good, but not like standout star. And I mean, like that's kind of it. There's a lot of names that are like just middle of the pack guys, Tolvin and Schwartz, like Bjorkstrand. Nobody that you really expect a ton out of.
Yeah, Gord.
You put them all together, and it's this effective, kind of like what Vegas had the first year. What was that, Mikey?
I think there was a bit of a delay.
Player for Seattle was Yanni Gord.
Oh yeah,
I mean Gord came over
bit
from
of a lag here.
Tampa. Yeah.
So
Biehner, what do you think?
Technology.
It was just as you're listing those names there, the Kraken are basically built of the players that Gary Bettman's NHL forces teams to get rid of. Like every player that you list that's on the Kraken, they're not a superstar, but the team that had them beforehand probably would have loved to find a way to keep them. Like Gord, Schwartz, Burakovsky, McCann, Donato, like
they're victims of the salary cap, exactly.
Yeah, and it even the defense core. Justin Schultz has been a serviceable NHL defenseman. You got Vince Dunn, Alexiak has been pretty decent wherever he's gone. Like they're
Larson,
they're a deceptively solid team, really.
Yeah, and this offseason alone, they picked up Burakovsky, who just won a cup and came in clutch in Game 7, scoring 2 huge goals. I think this roster is made up of players who come in clutch at those times where you need it. For example, Bjorkstrand. Oh my God, how many times did I stream him in fantasy? Because this guy shoots the puck. He will collect a couple points every night for you, even when he was with Columbus at the time. Like, these are the types of players that just needed a fresh look and that opportunity to play on the power play in the top 6, for example. And it's working out, and they're being reunited with former teammates, even Bjorkstrand and Wenberg. Like, they used to be playing together. And Yanni Gord alone, man, he's just like Tampa's former Rat, right? But yeah, I like this team. They're 2nd overall in the NHL for 5-on-5 goals for a reason. Tonight, the Leafs just could not connect. Like, everything had a stick on it. I mean, in the first period alone, 4 shots in the first 3 minutes, compared to last game where we had 8 shots to end the first period, 4 coming from the last minute. Like, the Leafs were buzzing, but nothing can get through. Block after block or stick after stick. Like, it was just frustrating.
Yeah, how many blocks? I mean, they only had 12 to the Leafs 13 tonight, but it seemed like everything came when the Leafs were really hemming them in the first period there.
Yeah.
And just to close off the point about the Kraken and what they're built on, and it kind of like combines mine and Biehner's point. Like the fact that they are all these $5 million guys, those are the ones you lose to the salary cap, right? Like I kind of explained myself into that without noticing it. Like their whole team is made up of guys that you'd like to keep, but they are worth probably $4 to $5 million. Most teams can maybe have 1 or 2 of those because you're paying somebody or multiple people between 7 and 10 million. But nobody on the Kraken makes over 5.5. Not a single. Well, yeah, no. Philip Grubauer makes 5.9. That's the most anybody makes on the team.
I think a huge plus that, you know,
That's
you
funny,
had
actually.
high hopes for, but Maddie, like Biehner, he, oh my God, what a, like, sometimes these first rounders are busts, okay? Like,
Maddie
laugh. Right, Biehner, thank you. I'm like looking
Sorry.
at it thinking it's like a French name. And this guy, I don't know why I'm losing it today, guys.
I mean, you know, a couple generations ago, it probably was.
Yeah, but first line center right off the bat and kept it. PP1, like this guy is a gem. He is overall a complete solid player. Like in his first little bit of the year, he has 36 points in 46 games played as a rookie on like a broken Seattle team who came from the bottom, and now where are they? I don't know. He's really something.
Yeah. One thing I noticed watching the Seattle feed tonight, two things I noticed. One, they over-explained everything. Like, I know it's the point, you know, they're all new fans and people have pointed this out, but I've never really watched like a whole Seattle Kraken game listening to their commentators. Oh my God, every time there's a stoppage in play and they're showing a replay, it's like, okay, so here, and I'm not kidding, this is something they explained. So here we see Alexiak, the defenseman, pinching in to help the forwards. So because he's doing that, one of the forwards here, I forget who it was, is going to come back and fill his spot. And I think it was Burkowski, is able to come back and fill his spot. So he's able to jump back and defend the play here. So, you know, covering for the defense when they pinch in is very important. I'm like, thanks. Are we actually doing this right now? But I get it. There's people that are watching hockey for the first time. It's just, I feel like people that get into the Kraken are not watching the sport for the first time. They just have a team that's local to cheer for, but I don't know. I might be wrong. It's weird. The second thing I noticed that's strange. Yeah, they're here now. The second thing I noticed that's strange is their intermission group. I mean, we've commented on how the Hockey Night in Canada round table is a little weird, or the oval table. But having three people standing in front of a screen with no table at all is way weirder. Like, they just have the three of them standing there. And it took me a minute watching it to notice, like, okay, what's odd about this? There's something very awkward. I can't put my finger on it. And it was, oh my God, they're just standing in front of nothing. Like, seeing them, like, they don't know what to do with their arms. There's nothing they can do with their hands. There's nothing on the table. There's no water glass. There's no microphone. There's no papers that they can pretend to look through. Just to, like, do something. They're all just standing there. And then when another person's talking, they stand there and look at them. It's like, I get that you're a new team, but, like, come on, guys, what is this?
You know what I noticed tonight? Every time a Kraken defender took a shot, it was in the 90s range, miles per hour.
No kidding. Holy
Done.
shit.
Osiliak, or Alexiak, sorry. They're literally 92.5. There was another one that was 97 and change. Like, holy shit. And that one went off Matthew's shin. Like, he's going to be hurting tomorrow. Like, almost 100-mile-per-hour puck coming right at you. Whew.
Yeah, I've been in fantasy kind of switching between a couple Seattle defensemen, but I'm dumb because I just dropped Vince Dunn like a day ago. And I have McCann in a couple, or no, Beniers I had, and I dropped, and I had McCann in a couple, and I kept him in one, but missed those points. Damn.
I drafted Dunn. I dropped him a long time ago. But
yeah, it's tough to pick defensemen in fantasy. Who would have thought that Josh Morrissey would be up there with Erik Karlsson on the All-Star team as the highest scoring defenseman?
You said Josh Norrisy wrong.
Oh,
maybe. Honestly, he might.
No one guessed that. No one.
Nobody. I'm telling you, I had him in fantasy last year, and I was like, you're good for some hits and blocks and the odd assist, but like, he was the 4th ranked of my defensemen. I picked him up off waivers this year, and now it's like a joke.
Did you guys see in the first period Mitch Marner sliding down on one knee through center, trying to steal pucks like a sneaky little snake? And I was like, whoa, bro. like a slip and slide opportunity here. And there was like no one to pass it to either. And I don't know. It seemed a little desperate to me.
This has become his thing. He made the one pass where he was falling in Seattle's end and just kind of whipped it over to the center, and he actually connected it. The falling, and I don't know, it's like they add the update to NHL 23, so Marner adds it to his game.
Look up the Bedard pass from tonight in the Team Canada game. I don't know if you saw that.
No,
it was
the same thing.
2-on-1, Bedard's coming in on the boards. The defenseman has the puck, or the defenseman's going to beat him to the puck. Bedard literally dives and hooks, uses his stick like a hook to knock it out right into center ice to the open winger coming in for the shot. I think it was awesome. They didn't score because the Czech goalie played unreal tonight, but like to have the mindset and the wherewithal to do that dive on purpose and still hook it like that to get that goal is just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, and we can get more to the All-Star thing later, and we will, but I think this is why Mitch was picked over Nylander. I think that was the biggest argument. I don't think anyone's saying that Matthews is not deserving of it, but I think this year's been more of a two-way season for him and not as much I'm going to score a bunch of points and be an All-Star. He's kind of rounding his game out, being a team player. Nylander's been scoring like crazy, though, and Marner went on his insane point streak. But I think the reason that it was Marner over Nylander is just the way that he plays and what he's been giving this year, like the effort level and his defensive play too. Like not to say that he's not doing that, because he's been honestly better than even Matthews is at that. But I think it's because of the way that he plays, and if we're going to put on a show, like I think he's more exciting to watch too than Nylander, and he can get a little boring sometimes, even if he is scoring 3 or 4 points.
Well, Marner's also going for the Norris Trophy, so and Nylander's not. So
I'm not slamming Nylander in any way, saying that he's like. I shouldn't say he's boring. I might end up using that as my walk it back later, but
I think
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just trying to justify why it was one Leaf over another, guys. Okay, we got to go to the game, though. We'll get back to All-Stars.
Another thing that was disappointing tonight, and how we ended on the first period, which I had high hopes on this fucking power play, guys. Like, Justin Schultz, another guy picked up in the offseason from the Caps, obviously has this reputation with the Pens. A good fucking player. And Seattle is 31st on the PK. I think they said 11 times this year they let in 2 power play goals against. Like, why couldn't Toronto
go 1 for
connect?
5?
Yes, this was a beautiful goal by JT, but it seemed like with all of these other opportunities, especially to end the first period, going into the second, and then right after, Toronto gets another power play opportunity, and it's like, come on. I don't know. And then you have the double minor as well, which they connected on, but man, it took forever.
Yeah, it seems like if they're going to keep running this 5-forward thing, they got to really let them figure out what works, because right now it seems like...
They should be gelling.
What's that?
They should be gelling. Like, I like this idea of a 5-forward power play. I would like it a lot more if they were like already scoring beforehand. Because then they would already be feeling it, and they'd bring that energy on into the power play. Bunting did score recently on the power play. It was a disappointment that they didn't get anything done tonight, well, other than JT's goal. Yeah,
and especially with a double minor and 4 other opportunities, you expect them to get at least one more. That's less than a 25%, which is, I guess, kind of where they sit at. But in one game, it's not great.
They just couldn't get set up properly. There were too many stick checks. Honestly, 12 blocks tonight for the Kraken. That blows my mind. I'm thinking in the 30s easily, but a lot of stick checks.
We've missed the net a lot.
Yeah, like the first 2 power play opportunities, they had 1 shot that hit the net, right? So clearly not good enough, but Matthews coming back, pickthey're a rookie, and damn, like, putting on a little show, but the rest just didn't make up for it. And the second period, time and time again, the commentators, oh, the Kraken are the best in the second period. Look what they can do, yada, yada, yada. And bam, 4 goals.
Yeah, it seemed like the same thing happened in the St. Louis game with the 4 goals against. But, I mean, the Leafs were able to answer a couple of them, at least that time. The Leafs came in being, you know, the highest differential in the second period, not necessarily the highest scoring, but they've been just able to shut everyone down and use that as their time to lock games away. And I don't know if it was, hey, whatever, like, I mean, you heard Friedman say, whatever you're doing before the second, do it before the first. They came out in the first like they do in the second normally, couldn't score, but then they didn't do it in the second. So it's not do it in one or the other, do it in both, please.
Yeah, then Seattle's power play opportunity, super soft. Even Yarncroke chirping at Yanni Gourde, being like, really, bud? Like, did he barely touch you there? Like, you went down easy. You look at Keefe, he's smirking like, okay. Like, looking at the pictures of the refs inside the bench and being like, keep my thoughts to myself, keep my thoughts to myself.
Yeah, and what I was going to say about the 5 forwards is, like, if you were going to run this, they probably should have practiced it more in the preseason or, you know, I mean, I know they have practice and stuff to try it out, but it seems like they're still figuring out who's going to be where and how to move the puck around. And then especially when you switch to the second and it's like, okay, now some of these guys are still out there and we're readjusting to having a defenseman out here. And it seems a little scrambly. So, like, it can work. Of course, you can create a play with 5 forwards out there, but it just seems like it's only happening because of who's out there, not because the strategy's working. So yeah. I don't know how you fix that.
Well, I think it's a little bit of it is this, you know, come back from the break as well, right? Like we've had a pretty good run of rolling basically right through the entire month of November, right up until the Christmas break. There wasn't really a lot of controversy that they had to deal with. There wasn't, there was losses, but there wasn't anything crazy.
Oh, what about the $125,000 of fines that they got? We didn't talk about that.
Well, that was just so that Arizona could pay for all the shirts they gave all those fans for the Leaf game. that was Bettman's plan. That way they could pay for those shirts. They had to find someone. Genius. Why not find the Leafs?
Mike Ross is raffling off 2 of those shirts in XL. All you have to do is make a donation to the foundation that he always supports, and the shirt is yours if he chooses you. So saw that on Instagram. I definitely was like, I want one of those. I don't know when I'll wear it, but I'll happily make a donation for one of those shirts.
At least you'll have go to an Ottawa Senators Arizona game and wear it.
Yeah. I gotta say though, guys, Eeli Tolvanen is a guy I really wanted. Every time we have talks about different wingers and such, I know he doesn't have a ton of points on each season, but this guy is a PP specialist. I've had him in fantasy multiple times in previous years, and he's always good for a power play goal. Like, I think he would be awesome on that left wing, and honestly, I cannot believe that Nashville waived him. Like, he's a first rounder, and even a couple years ago, he had 12 power play points in 40 games, even though he was only utilized for half of the season. Like, I thought this was a huge fail on their part, but honestly, happy for Seattle to collect all of the misfits and make it work there. Yeah. I'm surprised.
Tolvanen's just under a half a point a game, 53 in 137 NHL games, shooting at a career 10.7%. So it seems like if he can get the shooting percentage up, which just seems like something that comes with shooting more, because he's only got 244 shots. That's what, like, averaging less than 2 a game, just under 2 a game. So
he will pop off with this team. He already has 2 goals and 1 assist in 3 games with the Kraken. I honestly don't think he cools off. I think now is his time to shine. And in Nashville, there were a lot of other fixtures on their first power play unit, and he was kind of like the 5th guy who got rotated in and out. But hey, clearly, I don't watch a lot of Nashville games. So.
Tolvanen's always had the shot, and like
Yeah.
every time you watch the guy play, it's like, man, this guy can rip it if you can just put it all together. And in Nashville, you were kind of handcuffed because you have Duchesne and you have Johansson, who are making a lot of money.
Forsberg.
And at least Forsberg is productive, though. Like Duchesne and Johansson came back a little bit last year, but aside from that, they've been pretty bad since they've been in Nashville, right? So your hands are almost tied. You have to play those guys. Then the young kid like Tolvanen kind of gets put to the back burner when he shouldn't be. I can pretty much guarantee you the Leafs put a claim in for Tolvanen. We'll never know, but the Kraken definitely would have been in a higher priority or a higher selection order than the Leafs would have been for the waivers.
Yeah, definitely.
Dude shooting 25% since he joined the Kraken. Just saying.
Just saying.
Not that many shots, but still.
And just saying, Sandin went down again, all bloody for the second game in a row, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Luckily, he's back. He came back to the bench, but man, this guy is having rough luck this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's just barely avoiding injury recently, and it's really frustrating. I don't want to see another one go down.
But I can't believe.
I mean, to be fair, we looked a lot better with no D.
We're having. Oh yeah, that's true. But
sorry,
hey,
say that again, Steph.
With all of the injury we've been having, you know, the first month we didn't have neither of our first, like 1A or 1AB. It took over a month and a half or whatever it was for both of them to get in on a game, and we've gone to like our 12th defender by now, and we've tried it all, and look at the success we're still having. Honestly, like Twitter tonight blew up if they watched the Leaf game. They were very happy if they watched the Canada game. And it's like a game like this, and it's like shit hits the fan, trade the team, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, guys, it's okay. Like tonight is just, it's just like one, like we have to lose a couple. Can't win them all.
I have bad days.
I mean, we were talking about this,
and we all have bad days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I was talking about this in Discord with, I think it was Lucas. Luke, man, the slump we needed to have. It was like the Leafs had a really good run, and it's like, yeah, like everybody was playing above their ability, especially with all the injuries on defense, like we had said multiple times. So I think it's like we talk about having a coach stars. It's hard for the coach to get a message sent home when everybody's playing well and everybody's winning. So I think having back-to-back performances like this, I think it gives Keefe some ammo to be like, all right, you're going to listen to me now? Like, let's sit down and work on some things because, you know, as good as a lot of you are, some things are not clicking. So let's get back to brass tacks.
Well, and like Marty was saying, shout out to Marty. We have to get our episode shout out to him. I'd rather slump in January than in April.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of slump, and I know it's not even really a slump, I'm always rooting for John Tavares, and I was so happy for his goal tonight. He hasn't scored since December 27th, but I mean, if he hasn't scored in like a week or so, people immediately think he's fallen off and he's washed and whatever. So I love when he shut the haters up. Bleh. And yeah, this like bleh, bleh, bleh. This power play struggled as much as I'm struggling right now with my English words, but I'm so glad in the second half of the double minor they were able to get at least the tip. The deflection, right? The Marner shot in the slot, double screen, you bunts ass, JT's ass right in front of the eyes, and bam, in. $4.99 for Marner, top 100 in NHL goals for JT.
Yeah, so, number 407 for JT. And like you said, putting him in the top hundo, that's a sweet achievement. Everybody's been hitting the milestones in the last little bit. And again, a milestone, and they lose the game. So that's two of those now, guys.
Oh, and it wouldn't be a Leaf game in this part of the season if the other team didn't score immediately. So 14 seconds later, Vince Dunn he's like, oh, sorry guys, takes the shot off the arm, trickles in. Literally the third line's still out there. Camp is kind of like, what the fuck just happened? And it's another result of the puck being freed up along the boards and puck battles not being won. I mean, Justin Hall flicked it towards Dunn and he was like, thank you very much. Took the shot and boom. Like,
Yeah, it's frustrating. But looking at the standings here still, even with this loss, the Leafs, with 2 games more than Tampa, they're about tied. Like, if Tampa wins their next 2 games, they'd be tied at 53. So they're still neck and neck with them.
Yeah.
And it's really just a battle for home ice and for the
We're
first
still
round
like
right
top
now.
5.
Because
Yeah.
oh yeah, and I mean, like I said, unless Buffalo's gonna really make a challenge for Tampa, I don't see it happening. They'd have to really.
You mean
they're
the
9
Tage
points
Sabres?
behind them. The Tage Sabres, yeah. Like that's the thing is their run is so good, but I think it's not going to do them any good. Like,
Yeah.
like you're up against Washington for a wild card spot, Pittsburgh, the Islanders. Like I feel like they're just putting themselves in the worst draft pick position with such a great season for them. It's unfortunate.
It's so weird because like I called it at the beginning of the season. I thought Boston was going to actually start going down. That was a bad call.
Yeah, me too.
But I saw them coming out and Buffalo going in.
Yeah, but here we are. Like that's the thing. If you take Boston out of this equation and it's Toronto, Tampa, and then Buffalo, like they'd be right there. But here we are.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. And it's not a real, true Leaf game if a former Leaf legend did not score. So, of course, as I said on Reddit as well, Jarrett McCann scores.
I mean, are we going to call him a former Leaf? Really?
We
I
have
know
to.
I did, but like,
we own his rights,
he's a
but that
Leaf
was
legend.
Yeah.
He's a legend in the sense that we talk about it when it might not have actually happened, and we stretch the truth a little bit and make it to more than it was.
Give him a statue, okay? This guy knows how
Part of
to
the legend
finish.
grow already.
Yeah, the legend goes. We brought him in to be our expansion draft fodder, and then he wasn't.
Yeah. My God.
So.
Oh man, this goal though, like another, not getting the puck battle we're in the Seattle zone. Okay. This all starts way the fuck down there. And Kerfoot's battling. The whole third line's battling for this puck that goes around Jones. And then he goes to Schwartz. Long stretch pass all the way almost to the Leafs blue line. I thought McCann was coming off the bench. I didn't realize he was just center ice fucking da-dee-da-dee-da, give me the puck. And then Riley pinched, so he's fucked out of nowhere. Like, where is he? Don't know. And
Not been playing well.
McCann, straight shot in. No fancy moves. He just got that shit done.
So, Biehner, Mr. Goaltender, how many of these you putting on Murray?
Ooh.
Realistically, none of them were really great. Like,
that's kind of how I felt and how a lot of Twitter seemed to feel. I mean, the first one was tipped, but he was almost there. He was sliding over, and it got in a really bad spot, just in that little squeaker between him and the post. The rest were like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it happens, right? Like, we were all talking up how great it was once both of them came back and how great they were playing. Like, oh, Dubas, I was saying it too. Dubas looked like he knew what he was doing. This is great. And I talked about it before the season. I had high hopes and high optimism for this tandem. And for Murray specifically as well, because he's been there before. He's coming to a place he wants to play. He's happy about, excited. But you're going to go through slumps. Like, one of the best goalie blooper reels of all time has two of the greatest goalies of all time basically scoring on themselves. With Broder dropping his stick and it going off his stick and in between his legs, and with Patrick Waugh covering it with his glove and lifting his glove up to say, "Hey, I got it," and dropping it in his own net. Like, even the best of the best make mistakes.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those nights you got to kind of work through it. And even the St. Louis game, we kind of saw it with Sammy. All game, he was fighting it. He was not having a strong game. Keith left him in. He kept fighting, and then he made some killer saves in OT, right? You got to battle through it.
But with battling through it, does that not come with letting them play more than one game in a row? Like, I get that we have this tandem, but should we not maybe let them play a couple games and find a rhythm and get good, and then when that starts to fall off, switch them? Like, I don't know if I love the back and forth every game, because not everybody benefits from having 4 or 5 days off.
Yeah.
Look at Vasilevsky.
Yep. Typically, that would be it. It's okay. You know what? Shake it off. You got the next one to go, and it's going to be a rough stretch of games. We just got to get through, and you play 2, 3, 4 in a row, whatever it is. But clearly, before the season, they sat down with both these guys and they worked out a game plan, and they're sticking to it. And you saw it didn't matter if they had a shutout or if they're letting 4 or 5 goals in. They're sticking with the predetermined plan to make sure that not only do these guys get reps, but they're also fresh, right? So it doesn't look like it right now because they're both kind of hitting the slumps at the same time. But over the course of the season, that wear and tear of if you're playing 4 or 5 in a row isn't going to be adding up on them because of the tandem that they've got.
Fair.
Yeah. Honestly, tonight was not good for Murray. I know the Leafs did not help. He did not have support in front. You cannot blame it all on him. But, okay, the first goal, it wobbled off. It got a wobble off Gio's pants. It hit him. Sometimes you can't see that. Like, it's given that one. The next one, off the arm, trickled in. Another unlucky play that could have been avoided if that puck wasn't coughed up by Hall, and if someone was on Dunn in general. Like, no one had him covered. So I'm like, okay, fine. McCann all alone. Leafs nowhere to be found. This was on Murray. This was a soft goal, in my opinion. Like, he should have had this one. Then the next one, Biehner, or sorry, how the fuck do you say his name, Biehner? I keep thinking it's French. Beniers. Oh my god, I keep thinking it's French for some reason. Beniers finds the puck off an Eberle shot, like it didn't go through, and then he picks it and swoops around and shoots. This, hard to see for goalies, especially if you're going to do a little spinorama and just shoot it off your stick. I'll give it to him, like, fine. But then the next one, it's like, come on, odd man rush, Leafs, not there again, but it was weak. Like, it was in a soft spot for me, for my eye test. Maybe Bean has a different opinion, but like half tonight for me were kind of on him. Even though I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt too, like considering like positional play, and of course there wasn't support, but yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll get to it in questions, but I feel like there's been a significant shift in how the defense has performed the last couple nights, especially after, they were on a pretty good run for a while. And it's not been so much in the neutral zone. It's just been in their own end. Like, everything that's coming out of the opposing offensive zone in most games has been pretty good. It's just once it gets in there, it's been impossible to get it out.
So Mike at the Fanatic, he was watching the gold medal game. He just simply said, if we just want to jump to questions quickly, what happened? I was writing about the Canada game for Inside the Rink, and I'm going to watch the Biehner game to write about this as well for the Leafs. Man, I don't know. Lots of stick checks. Like I said, honestly, Leafs were like a half step behind, in my opinion, and just couldn't get there. Lack of puck battles won. I mean, they were still eight on the dot, 57%, but the PP, even the end of the third, the fifth opportunity of the night, they couldn't sink it. It's like they couldn't set up, kept getting blocked, missing the net. I don't know. What do you guys think other than that?
It was kind of tortoise and hare at the beginning. Like it looked like they were all over them, but they kind of gassed themselves out. Seattle waited them out and just took advantage of it. Like they started jumping on everything. And, as soon as the Leafs scored, it was like they again got in their heads like, all right, we got this. And immediately Seattle jumped on them again. So it was just, being an opportunistic team. And I think that's why they're as high up in the standings as they are in the West.
Well, and I think how well the Leafs played with all the injuries, especially over the last month and a half, 2 months. Like when you have your entire defense core basically go down and you play as well defensively that they did. You used to see it every year with Pittsburgh. Every single year with Pittsburgh, you'd have like Crosby and Gensel and Letang. You'd have 3 or 4 or 5 of the key pieces go out. And the team wouldn't miss a beat. They'd keep winning. They'd get everybody back, and they'd go on a 3 or 4 game skid. Because you're so focused, like, oh, crap, I got to pull up my socks because we're missing Riley, or we're missing Brody, or we're missing whoever. So you're playing that much better. You're that much more attentive to every little thing you do on the ice. You get everybody back, and you kind of, I can breathe. And, oh, Justin Hall's back. And here's a giveaway. And, right, like, It's to be expected because you're not going to go 82-0. Even the Bruins, they've lost a handful of games, and they're the unbeatable team.
They lost to
Arizona. Yeah.
So it's not just against Toronto.
Yeah.
And Colorado lost against Arizona. Sorry. Just had to add that. Continue.
No, it sucks to see games like this, especially since we've been spoiled over the last little while. But I don't want to. I've been off Twitter because I let my son stay up and we watched the Canada game together. Or at least he made it almost until the final. No. So I haven't been on Twitter or anything, so I haven't seen the reaction from Leafs fans over this one. But I don't want to see any of the same. I don't want to see the same BS we see all the time. One bad game, I get it. Bad games happen; they suck, but. You can't continuously go and go and go. Even some of the Bruins players have said, you know what, maybe it'd be nice if we could have a little adversity now. That way you know what to do. That way you can deal with it with this group. Even if you're full of veterans who have been there before, no team is exactly the same as it was from the year before. So there's going to be different components on that team who may or may not react in a way that could be really detrimental to team success if they haven't been in that situation before, or if they're not used to any kind of pressure, right? Mm-hmm. So long-winded way to just say, it sucks, but breathe. We're still in a great position. And yet again, witnessing history, enjoy the season.
I think the commentators kind of gave the fans some PTSD, whoever was watching Sportsnet anyways, because they kept bringing up, this is a good opportunity for the Leafs to practice those situations like in the playoffs where they're down 2 goals, and this is the time to show us that you can come back, sort of thing. And every time Kraken scored, there's kind of bringing that up, okay, Leafs need to score 4 goals now if they want to win this game. And I'm like, yes, adversity is nice and all, but you're literally reinforcing the thought of, we can't do this. And it pissed me off. Then I got into a bad mood. I'm getting all these thoughts in my mind. No, we can't. I'm like, yes, we can. I don't know.
Look, you want to put things into perspective? The longest win streak in the entire league right now is the Philadelphia Flyers at 4. Every single team has either just come off of losing or just started winning. Those are both the same thing, but you got what I mean. Everyone has just lost after winning or just won after losing. So there's things happen, and it happens everywhere. Watch another game.
Everyone's going through it.
Yeah. And to your point about Colorado losing to Arizona, I don't know if you've looked at Colorado's record lately. They're only a couple games above 500. They're 19, 14, and 3.
They were dressing defensemen as wingers because they were so ravaged with injuries, though. So yeah, they're still below Calgary and Edmonton, and they're in 9th place in the West.
Speaking of records, just fun fact, This time, Florida Panthers just were handed their 18th loss of the season. Last year, they ended their regular season with 18 losses.
Holy moly.
So they're at 17, 18, and 4 with a 487 win percentage, and they ended their season 58, 18, and 6 with a 744.
That's crazy. And Colorado could miss the playoffs if they don't, if they don't turn things around with all these players coming back. Like, honestly, they're fighting for a wild card spot with Calgary and Edmonton. That's not fun.
Yeah. So just want to ask.
More questions.
Yes. Hurley Sports. Gio is our Baroque at Chris_Hurley10.
Hey,
friend
Chris.
Should the NHL fold the Leafs franchise for being a disappointment?
Yeah, they suck. They're awful. Let's end it. Trade everybody.
It's the worst. All
And
this
what was your
history for
response?
nothing. I responded the Coyotes. Fix that for you, buddy.
Yeah. Then we have Ryan at Nulsey asking on Twitter, were they watching the Canada game from the bench? Is that what happened tonight? Probably. Probably. We're just gonna leave it at that. Yeah. That's a good excuse.
Mikey, what were they doing?
Yeah. What were they doing, in
I
your
think
opinion?
they probably were watching the Team Canada game. Friggin', I was watching the team interviews before the game, and Marner, like, you could see it in his eyes. He's like, "Oh, I wish we could have watched that." So it's like, yeah, you're not watching the replay. You're watching the Team Canada game.
Honestly, they were probably checking their phones in the locker room and, what's the game going and how's it going?
I've watched hockey at work before.
Oh, yeah.
Can you
Those
imagine-
tablets on the benches?
Can you imagine watching hockey at hockey?
So Cali Cartel on our Discord. Guys, join our Discord. Back to back this weekend. Sammy first or Murray? Wings at home and Flyers road game. Murray beat the Wings last time. What would you
I'd
do?
like to see Murray
I
in
mean-
net on Saturday.
Yeah,
Despite the
I
loss
would.
that...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'd give it to Murray again. Despite the loss, I'd give it to him just so we can find the groove. I think it was Dangle that had tweeted. Apparently, this was Murray's 5th home game since becoming a Leaf. So, like, I'd like to see him continue and find a vibe and get into it.
Yeah. What do you think, Bean?
I kind of agree, because if you look at some of the games and the way they laid it out, I do think they see Murray as the number one. And with the Wings, even though they're a rebuilding team, they always put up a good fight against us. Hockey Night in Canada on home ice, I do think you go with Murray and then let Sammy handle the back-to-back.
Roscoe?
I mean, the Wings are, okay, what are they? 16, 13, and 7. Flyers are 15, 7, and 7. So they're pretty much both meh. Going to miss the playoff teams. I think just because the Red Wings are a little tougher and Sammy's been playing a little better this year, in my opinion, I would say throw him there just to give Murray a bit of a break. I don't want to, really rattle him. And I think just because Sammy hasn't played the last one, I also don't want him to have a ton of time off. I don't know, just to be different and have a different opinion here.
Yeah,
Argument for the other way.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with Biehner and Mikey. You put Murray in, regain his confidence. He was an 808 tonight. He's looking for his 10th win as a Leaf. Sammy already has 11 wins as a Leaf this season, so give it to Murray. Get Sammy against Philly and Torts. Hopefully we can grab 2 dubs. And yeah, but last question here, folks. Marcus Taylor at TaylorMTG Marcus asks on Twitter, what's the level of concerns with 1, Goaltending. Both have been absolutely awful, and the lack of D structure, which coincidentally became an issue as soon as Riley returned, who has been awful and a complete liability. So let's start with goaltending. Concerns. Biehner?
Well, that kind of... I just want to show the other question, because VI Blue and White said, are we going to talk about the Riley Fent in the room?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I missed that one. Thank you.
That's actually... I like that wordplay there, even though I don't agree with it.
Me too. I really like that.
Realistically, I don't really have the concerns, because given what we've seen so far, and we're, halfway through the season now? Are we at the 41 game mark there, or 42 game mark
No.
yet?
Not yet for the Leafs.
We are at 37.
Just on that quick though, there are teams that are at 36 games played, and there are teams that are at 41 games played. How is there a 5-game disparity? That is crazy. The schedule is whack.
Well, that also comes into play with the All-Star break too, right? Because with the last CBA, they have to have, isn't it? They have to have a week off either before or after, or split up on other. I'd have to verify with that, but
something like that, yeah.
Anyways, with what we've seen with the goalies, I'm definitely not worried, because we didn't get these guys expecting them to be Vezina candidates. We didn't go out and pay $5.5 million for a career backup, expecting him to lead our team to the promised land. Hint, hint, nudge, like wink, wink.
No.
Like,
don't hate.
So,
sounds familiar.
I had to say that because Steph was on here, because I think there was a quote she kept saying last year over and over
Jack
and over
Campbell
again.
is elite.
Yeah, it's like Chris Johnson's famous the Canadians are a juggernaut, and then they immediately went on a tank for the rest of the season.
So you look at what we've done, and it's not a 5-game sample size, like, since the break, where the goalies have been playing bad and the defense has been playing bad. It's a 30-some-odd game sample size, where the majority of it, the Leafs have been one of the best teams in the league. Structurally, defense-wise, it's been an entire team defense that has played very, very well and very, very sound games, even when they're down. Or even, it doesn't matter. There's almost no score effect to how they were playing. And that sample size was a hell of a lot larger than this sample size. And you take all the factors into effect. Like I touched on a couple minutes ago. Everybody's back now, so you can kind of breathe. So you let your foot off the gas. You're not really as sharp as you should be. You're just coming back from Christmas holidays. And I don't know about you guys. I didn't gain any extra family Christmas dinners that I had to go to, but it felt a million times busier than pre-COVID. I don't know if that's because we didn't do anything for 2 years. But so just imagine that when you also have to worry about potentially flying across the country or to another country, or paying for your family to come over to celebrate, right? There's so many different factors. I definitely wouldn't be worried about it right now.
Yeah. Let me just remind you, last year at this time, Murray did not have a single win on the books yet, and Jack Campbell was already picked for the All-Star game. So this is where I'm coming from when I'm saying Jack Campbell is elite to all of our new listeners.
I can't believe... I actually forgot he was on the All-Star team last year, and now he's the worst goalie in the league. That's a starter.
Man, it was a thing, and
What a
Leafs were
turnaround.
buzzing. Yeah. And look at our goalies when Leafs were buzzing too, before Christmas break. 3 shutouts in 4 games. It's so much on the team as well.
with all the smiles.
All the smiles, so much wow. I have faith in these guys, even though I used to be a hater. And they've proven it to us. It's literally our buds not fucking playing D right now. And Riley, I know, he needs to stop pinching so much, in my opinion, but that's okay. I think they're going to get it together, and maybe Timmins should have a turn soon, or someone else should have a turn soon.
And you know what? For everybody that is legitimately... Sorry, was that Mikey?
No, I was just going to say bring Hall back out of the lineup. Like
Oh,
there was
yeah.
a game
Like,
recently
there
where
needs-
like
there
right
needs
at
to
the
be-
start he took Geo down for a trip, and I'm like, no man.
Yeah, there definitely needs to be some sort of rotation to keep Timmins fresh and to, as we touched on a couple episodes ago, try to load manage the guys a little bit. Because I think that might be what's going on with Gio, because he played so much when everyone was hurt.
Yeah.
But for the people that are legitimately concerned and complaining about Riley, if you take Morgan Riley with how he's playing right now, with his contract, and you went to any team in the league, they would take him in a heartbeat.
Oh my God, yeah.
So
Of course.
Everybody's shitting on him, but it's not like he's still a great defenseman. He's not a number one going to win the Norris Trophy defenseman, but he never was. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Someone-
I love Mo.
Me too. And someone
I'm here.
dropped him in one of our fantasy leagues while he was on LTIR. And just like in probably real NHL land, I grabbed that shit so quickly. I was like, how do you drop Morgan Riley in fantasy, even if he's going to be out 2 months? And guess what? Pacioretty was activated tonight after being, told he wasn't going to play until just before playoffs. 6 shots, 2 hits, already playing on PP1. Like, these are the types of players who make differences. And Morgan Riley, he's the longest bud. He knows what's up. Give this guy a week, he's going to be back on track. Like, there's no reason to write anyone off right now.
I hope so. On that, I grabbed Patrick Kane because somebody dropped him.
That's always smart, but just for namesake right now.
Future
no, because
New
if
York
he's gonna get
Ranger
moved-
Patrick Kane.
Oh, yes.
And it's not if, it's kind of where he's going to get moved.
True. But
But yeah, Riley, I think there's been a lot of... Look, they haven't been playing great since he came back defensively, but it's like Biehner said, they're putting the pressure and responsibility back on somebody who's been hurt and out. We're switching things around after everybody. We found a groove in filling in those roles. There's just a lot of adjustment that has to happen. They're going to settle back in. It's going to be fine. It's annoying to watch. That's all.
that's
We'll get through
Okay,
it.
the fun.
let's finish with the All-Star team because that was announced. All the teams, the picks.
Yes.
So I want to know, we'll start with the Atlantic Division, if there's anybody that you would switch out. So for the Boston Bruins, we've got Linus Ullmark. Any objections?
Not with how he's been playing this year.
No.
I'm so happy that they picked him over, the perfection line. I know they're split up, but Marchand, Pasternak, Bergeron, like Linus Ullmark coming from Buffalo and literally starting from the bottom. Now we hear. Good on this guy.
Yeah, and I mean, if
Seeing
you're
the
looking
goalie
at...
hug too is a cute thing too.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, you could have gone with Vasilevsky here, but I just think with how... Not that they've been underperforming, per se, but I think they've just been kind of meh this year. So I'm glad that Ullmark got it. He's been fantastic. He's got a 186 GAA and a 939 save percentage.
Nice.
21, 1, and 1. Are you joking?
No one
Holy
believed in them. Even none of our fantasy leagues believed in them. Just you, Johnny. And
Just
you're
me.
the one who picked them all up off the waiver wire and
Yep,
kept
just
them all
me
year
who
long.
grabbed All-Stars Logan Thompson and Linus Ullmark in the draft with my last 2 picks in every single league because fuck you guys, I win.
And I took Jack Campbell, who I dropped in every single league. So I lose.
Chicken dinner. So then we've got from the Sabres, Tage Thompson, who
Tage Mario Thompson.
was dumb boy and panic. Every year I make one panic drop after my draft, and this year it was Tage Thompson because I'm a fucking idiot. So, yeah. Tage Thompson from the Sabres obviously makes sense. No objections there. Dylan Larkin for the Red Wings. This is where I have an objection. I want to know if any of you guys do.
Okay. What's your reasoning?
So even before that, Johnny, if you're not going to pick Larkin, who are you going to pick from the Red Wings? You can't pick Yzerman. He's the GM, not the player.
No,
Cider?
and here's the thing.
A little too late.
So I'm looking through the entire thing, and we're going to get to this. There were no defensemen from the Eastern Conference on either of these teams, and Filip Hronek has been fantastic this year, and I think he should be there over Dylan Larkin. I know Larkin has more points than him. I was looking at their stats there, but Filip Hronek, after they gave Moritz Seider their Calder, he has been absolutely unreal this year. He's the top scoring defenseman on the team. He's got like something like 33 points, I think. So I think, I don't know. I think they needed another defenseman here. If you're going to send Nick Suzuki and Nikita Kucherov, like, do you also need Dylan Larkin, another center? I don't know. That's my argument for it.
You got to go with how they're playing the All-Star games, though, right? They're not really games. It's all the 3-on-3.
Right. I don't know.
Furthermore, I think before we finish the All-Star stuff, I have a little idea that I want to throw out to you guys at the end of this, but keep going.
Okay. Next, Florida Panthers, Matt Tkachuk. No objections. I think that one makes sense, right?
He's leading the team in points, but obviously Barkov was injured. I mean, I prefer Barkov. That's just me, though. Like, Tkachuk has the stat sheet, obviously, but
Just got a hat
Barkov...
trick the other night.
But Barkov is the heart of this team. He's the captain. Like, I don't know. Or, like, even Spencer Knight has been coming up clutch for this team over Bobrovsky. Like, Bob has been a bust up until recently.
But you've got Linus Ullmark already as your goalie.
Yeah.
Do you vote him in?
And for the fan votes, they're making you do 2 players and a goalie.
So I think, like, I get it, but I think if you're going with All-Star and you want people to watch it, the Tkachuk trade got a lot of media cover, so I think that's somebody that they want to keep just to promote the game.
That makes a lot of sense.
Nick Suzuki for the Montreal Canadiens. Thank you. I don't know. I get it. I think he's having a good season. He's the star there, but like I don't know. You've got Caulfield, who I think is more fun to watch in an all-star situation, like when there's less rules and you get to just play around.
I think Caulfield's your only other option, unless you want to give it to Gallagher, who, like, you know, is heart of this team as well.
Yeah.
Gallagher, I feel like, keeps getting shafted in a sense.
I think his time's passed for it, though. Like, that's the unfortunate part, is he's not going to get it now, and he didn't get it when he should have.
Yeah.
With the Habs, it's got to be Suzuki or Caulfield, but I agree it would be a little better with Caulfield because he's that you know, get you out of your seat type player that you'd want to see at an All-Star game.
He's got the star power, right? Like, Suzuki's probably a better player, and he's, you know, more important as a center. But I think Caulfield's more fun to watch. For the Sens, Brady Tkachuk. This one, I think there's a handful of guys you could take from the Sens that would all be fun to watch in this scenario, because there's no like real big, like, Brady's obviously their big name, but like, I don't know, there's a couple you could toss in there that would all be fun, like Stützle or Norris.
The Bros are on the same team.
Exactly. I think that's what you got to go with here, though.
But how about Timmy, like Stützle? He's been, you know, filling the Josh Norris hole and really carrying this team in a big sense. DeBrincat just heated up not too long ago. Giroux has been steady, but they've been facing a lot of injury too, actually. Talbot just coming back.
I forgot about Norris down. Did you see Talbot got Deadpool on his helmet?
Yeah, that was fucking sick.
I love that.
From Tampa, we got Nikita Kucherov.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
not surprised.
Yeah, you could go Kucherov, you could go Stamkos, you could maybe not point this year, but
this is where you take a defender and you take Hedman here.
Right? Like, that's what I mean. If you weren't going to take a defenseman anywhere, like, I get it. There's an argument for any of these guys, but if you're not going to take if you're not going to take Mo Seider or Phil Pronik. You're not going to take. Jeez, there's not many others between Boston, Buffalo, Florida. Not many big defensive names here.
Darlene McAvoy.
Darlene's ranked number 2 currently.
Oh yeah, true. He is having a pretty good season. I don't follow him. I don't know. But
and McAvoy though, he's been losing his spot to Hampus Lindholm recently.
That's what I mean though. There's no like solid like all-star defenseman. I guess Darlene, yeah, but and then go ahead before I move on.
I just want to put it out there before we go off. This is the first year, too, that the public has so much control over these all-star teams. I mean, we get to pick the other 3 players, 2 skaters, and a goalie. Usually the public only allows to pick captains, right? Only, like, the rest comes from writers, and we get hear so much backlash, like, why did this guy get picked and whatever. So as we're saying this, I'm just picking that 2nd and 3rd, 4th player to go with these teams as well. And like, what would be the next best option? Because they're clearly going to get picked in by the fans, like, especially when you go Atlantic Division, like Marner, Matthews.
Yeah, so I guess we'll move on to the last one here. We've got Mitch Marner for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We touched on this. Makes sense. He's having a fantastic season. Not to say that anybody in their top core is not. But who for the Atlantic Division then would you add from any of these teams as your votes? Mikey, you want to start?
Nylander. Yeah. Like, he's just been so impressive. Even like at the start of the season and in this recent slump, Nylander has been awesome.
Yeah.
Agreed. Steph, who would you add?
I definitely have to add probably Mika Zibanejad, just because I think this guy is kind of like a Mitch Marner in a sense, does everything all over the ice.
That's Metro.
Oh my god, I'm looking at the wrong thing on my screen. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Matthews, of course, and then Kucherov, Vasilevsky, right? Or Hedman. Or even Barkov, as I said, or
yeah, I would say Hedman, Matthews, and a goalie, frig.
Pasta.
That must be a goalie, doesn't it?
The third one has to be a goalie, yeah.
Okay, if it has to be a goalie, then I'm going Vasilevsky instead of Hedman. Matthews and Philip Pronik.
So I actually went through and I did the voting while we were talking about this. So I've submitted my voting for today. And for the Atlantic, I picked Willie because he deserves it. With all the flack he gets in the media and the year he's had, he deserves to go to an all-star break.
Yep.
Per year.
And yeah. And I also picked Vasilevsky because he doesn't deserve a break. And he can go and maybe it can tire him out for the playoffs.
Maybe
and then
He'll be burnt out.
Because of the fact that I do not like the way they're doing the All-Star games, and it should actually be All-Stars.
Yeah.
I get it. They want a representation from every team. That way every fan can see someone there that they want to watch. But I don't know about you guys, when the Leafs were doing really, really bad, I wasn't overly thrilled with Coberle or Komarov being at the All-Star game. I would have much rather see someone there who deserved it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, yeah, in the 80s, you had the All-Star games were basically the Oilers versus the Islanders. But that's because they were the best teams in the league. So in protest to that, I think that we all need to get together and do like a John Scott thing. We need to vote like one player per division or something.
Baby.
That, yeah, absolutely. Pick someone, anyone. I don't care who. Like
John Scott 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
That's what we're naming this episode.
Yeah, fuck yeah, baby.
So like for the Atlantic, I picked a random player only because he went to the same, like he grew up in the town I went to high school in, Zach Delpy. So he's played 11 games for the Florida Panthers.
What the
He's
hell?
been a career journeyman. So what's up, Steph?
Are we talking about All-Star game right still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're throwing
Did you not
me.
follow this?
Did you not follow me? Like, let's pull a John Scott. We voted in a player that was sent down to the AHL just to prove a point that the system is flawed. So use our power and let's give Bettman what he doesn't want. Let's put players there who are going to enjoy it and have the time of their lives, but wouldn't in any other way be in an All-Star game. That's my proposition.
So who is our LLN pick for the All-Star Extra?
We should do a vote on that. Like vote in Discord or on Twitter or something, and then we should all try to band together and vote every day and make sure you select that player.
Deal. Let's do it. So stay tuned in Discord. We're going to pick somebody. Put in your picks for someone that's off the board.
So I'll quickly run down here. I don't know if are you planning on going through all the divisions or no?
We can quickly. I mean, we got to wrap up, but
okay.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I can say like my votes here. So for the Metro, I voted add in Sebastian Aho, Artemi Panarin, and Pyotr Kochetkov.
Oh,
Kochetkov's been fantastic.
Kochetkov's been insane.
Picked him up in fantasy off waivers.
me too.
Central Division. If he's healthy enough, I'd put McKinnon back in there. Max Domi's actually been having a sneaky good season for the Blackhawks, and then Connor Hellebuck.
You might as well put Colin Blackwell in there too.
And then for the Pacific Division, Bo Horvat. He's been lighting it up right now.
Oh yeah.
No
goals.
offense to
Pedersen. Yeah.
But Horvat should have been there.
I also got Pedersen off waivers. Thank you very much. Sorry.
How?
And then Eichel and Martin Jones.
So just to run down real quick. So Metro is Andrei Svechnikov, Johnny Gaudreau, Jack Hughes, Brock Nelson, Igor Shesterkin, Kevin Hayes, Sidney Crosby, and Alex Ovechkin. Love to see Sid and Ovi on the same team there. Kevin Hayes, the one that I would maybe throw in there because again, there's no defenseman on the whole Metro thing. I would say, Igor, you can't switch out. Maybe I hate to say Tony DeAngelo, but he's been really good this season.
How about Dougie Hamilton?
Dougie Hamilton too, yeah. Carolina, Brent Burns.
Yeah, Brent Burns, sneaky pick.
This is a
I would
Newfoundland
pick
bias.
Konechny over. Okay,
Sorry, I was going to say.
let's hear it. Bye.
For the Newfoundland bias for the Metro Division, I got to go Dawson Mercer.
Love it.
Nice.
Kid's a fucking beauty.
Central, we got Clayton Keller, Seth Jones, Cale Makar, Jason Robertson, Kirill Kaprizov, UC Saros, Vlad Tarasenko, and Josh Morrissey. The only ones that I would switch Tarasenko out with like Jordan Kyrou, probably.
Caillou.
That's probably going to happen anyways with Tarasenko being hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on IR.
Seth Jones from the Blackhawks. Again, I would maybe switch out with Domi just for
How about
fun.
Patrick Kane, guys?
Well, when is this?
February 4th, I think.
February.
Yeah.
I think they're just worried he might get traded.
Patrick Kane got shafted.
They're worried he might get traded. That's it. Honestly. What if they put him on there and then they're locked in? Now we can't move him until after the All-Star game. I know it's before the trade deadline, but you never know.
John Scott got traded and then demoted to the minors, and he was still there.
He's an all-star, baby.
Damn.
And then lastly, what's up?
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, lastly, Pacific, we got Troy Terry, Nazem Kadri, Connor McDavid, Kevin Fiala, Eric Carlson, Matty Beniers, Elias Pettersson, and Logan Thompson. The one that I would switch out, how did they send Troy Terry there when Trevor Zegras is A, on the cover of NHL 23, and B, they had him do that insane shootout competition goal last year? Why are they sending Troy Terry?
Yeah, and why
he's the most
Pettersson over Horvat,
reliable.
like we touched on.
Troy Terry is the most reliable player on this team who actually gets points.
But that's
Look
not what
at
this game is.
Zegras'
boy.
stats.
That's not what this is. Like every other play, if we're going off of stats, then you might as well just pick the person with the most points on every team and send them to the All-Star game. But that's not what we're doing here. That's why this whole thing is about viewership and about having something entertaining. And they put together this whole thing to have Zegras be, he did the Michigan, so let's have him do something crazy at the All-Star game. Let's throw him on the cover of NHL 23, get all the kids watching. Okay, now all the kids are watching. Let's not send him to the fucking All-Star game. It's basically directed at kids and not adults. So I don't get that. That one actually made me angry, as you can probably hear.
A guaranteed vote by fans. He's a guaranteed vote. And guys, he loves attention, literally. On this next episode of You Can't Do That, Zegras decides to take a stick out of a Dallas player's hands after his stick broke last night or the night before, and was literally to the media like, my stick broke. I pinned him against the glass, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to steal a stick. So you see him go against the boards. He's like, yank. Thank you very much. And then he starts to continue play, and the refs, everyone's looking, and Joel's kind of like, what? And the just whistles blown. Guy, what's going through your head?
That's why he should be the All-Star game. He's fun. Holy shit, Connor McDavid has 73 points. That's stupid.
Yeah, but this is the NHL. Stupid.
He's Connor McCheat Code.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you can. And he is McCheat Code. This is crazy. Like, I'm just like, wow, Erik Karlsson has 53 points. Oh, Connor McDavid has 73. That's crazy. Crazy talk. So that's the All-Star roster as of now. It's going to be held in Florida, in Sunrise, Florida. It's the Panthers, who are very mediocre this year, are going to be hosting. And should be interesting to watch. Hopefully, last year is kind of a start. I don't know how to put it. Last year wasn't that bad. It seemed like it was getting better. I hope they build on it. But I never have high expectations.
It'll be nice to see Vice City kind of vibe for the jerseys. Like, go all out, do the pink and blue. Sick. Let's do it. Full 80s.
That would be sick.
There will be a special crocodile event where I think they're going to be shooting pucks at crocodiles. I don't know. I spoke about this last season when I first got the scoop. Obviously, it's not fully released yet, but yeah, I just want to say one more thing too about the voting. You can vote online or on Twitter, but they get you with the hashtag, of course, but you cannot only say the last name in your tweet, guys. You have to say the first and last name or your vote will not count, or tag the player along with the hashtag. These are like little, this is the fine print that I'm reading for y'all, so you get your votes counted.
So now
got to properly vote.
You said there was a crocodile or an alligator component? I can't remember which one's in Florida.
It's going to be gators. It's always gators, in Florida.
So I will be very, very disappointed if they don't get Carl Weathers there.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes.
For those who don't know, Carl Weathers was in Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
And he lost his hand.
That's it.
To the gator.
Oh my God, imagine.
Yeah, and then somebody can come out and do their shootout competition with the putter hockey stick, and have Carl Weathers hand it to him, and then he goes and takes a shot. That would be fantastic.
That would be.
Yeah. Wow.
There you go, guys. We're writing this for you. We should be producers. Hit us up.
I think we got to take another trip. I just came back from Florida. I think I got to go back and.
I'd be down to go down for that.
Yeah, why not?
When is it?
Tickets?
Next year?
February?
The beginning of February. 3rd and 4th.
Oh, shoot. I am working until the 5th, and then I have a week off right after that. Damn it.
Well.
So I don't have anything major or substantial for this day in hockey history, so why don't we end the show with a draft simulator? I
have a yesterday in hockey history.
Is that the one you sent to our group?
Yeah, yesterday in hockey history, something hilarious happened. If you are a new hockey fan, you might not have seen this. If you are a longer time hockey fan, you probably have. So this was the anniversary of a very famous missed empty net goal. So Patrick Stephen, I think this was what, 2000?
99?
No, was it?
It wasn't 99. That was after. It was after. Wait, Stephen. That was the
Patrick Stephen was the 99
Edmonton
pick.
Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been. That's right around when Edmonton was actually half decent. So that was like 06,
2003?
07.
No. Was it?
Just after the lockout, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. 2007, yeah. So 2007, it's been 15 years. So 16 years. Jesus.
Feels like 99.
So Patrick Stephen was the first overall pick by the Atlanta Thrashers in 1999, and famously in this game missed a wide open net. Puck goes the other way, and Edmonton scores and sends it to overtime. The result of this, even though Edmonton ended up losing in overtime, Dallas won anyway. The result of this was the Chicago Blackhawks placing in just the right spot to get Patrick Kane instead of the Edmonton Oilers. So that 1 point made the difference, and history was made. 3 cups were won, and it's weird to have everything ride on such a weird play, but that's what happened, and that's how the cookie crumbled, and Patrick Stephen did not play again after that season. So, strange things in the hockey water.
The universe works in mysterious ways.
Now Patrick Kane is shafted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I have one thing
So
before we
mysterious.
wrap up. Because we're coming up to the trade deadline, I know I did ask you guys your thoughts on JVR coming back to the Leafs, to which that makes my heart feel warm and fuzzy. Let's go. There's one player.
Thank you for reminding me to bring that up.
That's okay.
No, because Dubas was at the Flyers Arizona game tonight, so everybody's talking JVR.
Oh,
again.
let's go. Let's do it. There's another player I was looking up because he did get sent down to the Marlies, and then I don't know what the hell happened to him, but apparently he's in the farm team for the Vegas Golden Knights. I would like to see my boy Clutchison come back.
Oh,
I'm gonna get burnt
the
by
jersey and all.
you guys,
Hutchinson
and
jersey?
every
Are you
listener is about
nuts?
to send me a WTF tweet. I've been watching Hutch since he was with the St. John Ice Caps, and he can be an awesome goalie.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I know he's been a revolving door with the Leafs before, but just I have a soft spot for him because I've watched him for so long. I even got that. So that's the only Jets jersey I have. I got it when he first went from the Ice Caps to the Jets because the St. John Ice Caps were the farm team then. Now they're the Growlers, and they're the Marlies farm team. But yeah, I'm going. I would like to see Clutchison come back.
Clutchison. I've never heard of that.
It's amazing. He's an $8.99 in 6 games this year with the Henderson Silver Knights. I didn't realize he was with Henderson now.
Yeah, I know he got sent
I
down
always
to the
said
Marlies.
Michael
and-
Hutchison.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember
He's like
watching
the-
him play for the London Knights.
Oh, yeah.
Wild. So, go ahead. And then I want to let
He
Biehner
is-
get to his thing I interrupted him on.
Marincin. Hutchison and Marincin are like the two Leafs that never leave the franchise until they're like in Europe.
They never leave, and you're always like, oh, good Lord, every time we have to call them up. It's always like, enough people get injured that you start hearing the Imperial March music, and one of them comes out, and you're like, fuck, we're doing this.
Yeah.
I hate to rain on your parade there, Mikey, but
Bring it on.
That's not going to happen because we actually have goaltender depth in every facet of the organization right now.
Yes.
Finally.
One can dream.
So, without further ado, and I don't have the sound effects, but it would be awesome to have like the Price is Right, like do 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 sound effect for this. But draft lottery, and there we go, drum roll.
I got a soundboard.
Arizona moves up 4 spots to pick first overall.
What, based on right now?
Yep, I just did the draft lottery. So they have the points updated, so whoever has the best odds. So the best odds were Chicago with 18.5%. and they dropped the 2 spots that they're allowed to drop. They dropped down to 3rd. So it's Arizona, Columbus, Chicago, Anaheim, San Jose.
Oh my God! If Bedard goes to Arizona,
It's happening.
He's going to score against Toronto.
It's happening.
so okay, who's the bottom 5 in there again?
After I did the lottery, or reset it?
Reset it.
So when you reset it at this moment right now, to the last time
Arizona.
this website was updated, it's the best. So best odds are Chicago, then Columbus, Anaheim, San Jose, Arizona.
Where
Oh
do you
my
guys
God.
want to see? Where do you guys want to see Bedard go of those 5 teams?
Anaheim.
I say Anaheim too.
Part of me would say Anaheim because it would be really cool to see him with Zegras, but I would probably pick Chicago only because I'm such a history guy, and it'd be nice to see the original 6 team basically go from one franchise player to another, from Kane to Bedard.
Yeah, they don't deserve it.
That is very true with everything that's gone on recently. So maybe if not Chicago, then San Jose, just because every single time San Jose brings out a jersey or does anything, they kill it. They've had a killer logo since they came in. It'd be nice for them to get that legitimate superstar.
Yeah, and I think he would be getting good at a time that not that he's not going to be fantastic right out of the gate. Hopefully, we don't know expectations, but it seems like he would be getting to his prime when they're finally out from under all these huge, stupid contracts they've signed. So it would kind of be ushering in a new era for San Jose, which would be nice. I just feel like Anaheim's a little farther ahead in that already, and I don't like the idea of bringing in somebody with, like, San Jose really has nothing going yet, and I don't like the idea of starting with Bedard and maybe wasting what could be his first year or 2.
There is people, and not just like you and me, like there's people who legitimately work in the sports industry who say that if Bedard was in the NHL this year, he would get 30 goals this year as a 17-year-old.
That's insane.
I think, was it Splittin' Chicklets guys that said Gary Bettman, just because he's Gary Bettman, it's going to be Arizona, like no matter what, because it's the way to keep his franchise afloat, and like they went on a huge rant about it.
Could be.
So I could see why people would think that, but if that was the case, and if they were going to do something like that, they would have done it with McDavid.
I don't know. I feel like they liked the idea of repeating the Gretzky thing. It worked in Edmonton, right?
But the thing with Edmonton is yes, it's a Canadian market, but all us Canadian fans, the team's not going to go under.
No, but Edmonton had like 4 or 5 of those first round picks. Like they
had their share.
They were rolling in them for a while.
Yakupov.
So they didn't need McDavid. That's what I'm saying. If they were going to rig it or fix it, they would have let Arizona get the franchise player with the McDavid draft, because Edmonton didn't need it. They weren't going to let him go to Toronto if they had that power. I'm not saying they do. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, but I'm not that far. We'll let Darty get into that. We miss you, buddy.
The Lafreniere ball, man, that Toronto ball was up there. I don't care what anybody
Can you
says.
do the
That
thing
one
again?
fell out.
The simulator?
Can you simulate again, just to see?
Okay,
like,
one more time.
Step 3.
So as of right now, it's Chicago, Columbus, Anaheim, top 3. And after the lottery, Chicago, St. Louis, Columbus.
Ew,
St. Louis jumps
jumps up.
9 spots to get second.
Whoa.
Gross.
Fake news.
See, what if one of those happens and somebody from like 7th gets first pick?
Well, that happened though with wasn't it the Rangers when they got Kakko, when they jumped up to second?
Maybe, yeah.
It's happened recently, right?
I don't think he's a bust. I think the Rangers are just really bad at developing people. Like, if they bust him and Lafreniere, then it's not the player's fault.
So, part of me secretly likes seeing this go on with the Rangers, because everybody's always chirped on the Leafs, like, oh, you can't develop, you can't do this, you can't do this. The Rangers are basically the Leafs American.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
Throughout the entire history of the organization, they didn't try to focus on drafting or developing because they just paid for the biggest names. Because even if they did poorly, if they had a player with a massive name on the back of that jersey, they were going to make a bunch of money selling those jerseys regardless.
Major difference, they draft goalies like it's their fucking day job.
This is true, but at the same time, it's going to sound ridiculous, and I'm probably going to be chirped for saying this, but they kind of got lucky with Lundqvist. It's not like Lundqvist was a first-round pick.
Yeah, but isn't that what scouting is? Like,
no, I know
knew what they were getting.
Goalies are voodoo at the best of
Goalies
times.
are voodoo, but to be able to go from Lundqvist to it's part of it is luck to go from Lundqvist to Shesterkin. But look, they've managed to do it, and the Leafs haven't. So
even before that,
that's something they have over us.
Richter to Lundqvist to Shesterkin.
Yeah. Yep.
I know that's before your time, you youngin', but
I know.
You're 1 year older than me. Oh my God. You act like you're my grandpa.
Okay, so I think we can hop out of here. There
you
was
know
one
who
thing
else was a first round pick? Sorry. Jack Campbell.
Great. Do you want him back? Is that what we're getting at here?
I just want his picture to improve and put a smile on that face again.
This is what happens when you get traded out.
Oh, there was the one thing I remembered I wanted to talk. I remember the one thing I wanted to say. I can't remember if it was CJ or Frege, but one of them said they're looking at like $5 million for Bunting. So, I wasn't far off. I think that's more than he's going to get, but I think I'm kind of in the right range there with like 4 something. If he's going to take a bit of a discount, they're going to go for longer term.
I would love to see him stay longer term.
Like the comparables are out there.
Give him 8 years.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's one of the few times that it makes sense to sign somebody long term to a small, AAV. So, say two. We're out of here. Goodbye.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Leafs Late Night, your night of post-game podcast. Available after every game on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and more.
Cat.
So cute.
Thanks, Mikey, for
Don't
coming
stop
on.
believing.
Thanks, Mike.
Check out the Be Leafers pod.
Peace.
Yeah.